for 10 to 12 kilometers by a Baleno, today the DCW Chief Swati Maliwal was harassed and then dragged once again on the streets of the national capital. The DCW Chief, who was out inspecting the ground situation, was approached by a man, harassed and then dragged. If this is the reality for the DCW Chief, then where do the rest of us go is a question that we're all asking today. Is safety of women just a farce as far as the national capital is concerned?
गाड़ी बिल्कुल आकर मेरे साथ खड़ी हो गई और उसमें जो आदमी बैठा हुआ था वो नशे में धुत था। मुझे पेस्टर करने लगा कि मैं उसकी गाड़ी में बैठूं और वो मुझे छोड़ देगा, जिस पे जब मैंने उसे पकड़ने की कोशिश करी तो तुरंत उसने विंडो ऊपर कर दी और मेरा हाथ गाड़ी के अंदर अटक गया और मैं उसके साथ लटक गई और 10-15 मीटर तक वो मुझे घसीट कर लेकर गया।
So the larger question that we're asking this evening is Delhi just not safe as far as women are concerned? I want to first bring in our newsmaker for this evening, Swati Maliwal, the chairperson of the DCW, or the Delhi Commission of Women, who actually became a victim of what really happened. Swati, we appreciate you taking out the time and joining us here on CNN News 18. Firstly, I hope you're okay. I hope you're feeling well. Could you just talk to our viewers of what really happened with you? What time did the incident take place?
So I was doing inspection because in any case we keep doing inspections at different places in Delhi. But after the Kanjhavla incident, I felt that we must inspect the roads of Delhi and just see how does a woman feel alone in night in the state of Delhi. So I was standing at the Ames bus stop opposite that place, and it was a main road, and while I was standing there I noticed that one after the other cars started stopping, trucks started stopping, some men made lewd gestures, and then this one car came which was a white Baleno, in which a man was completely drunk, and he asked me whether I would like to be dropped by him, and I refused, and I told him that my relatives are coming and he should go and I don't need any help. But he kept pestering, he kept going on again and again, forcing me to get into the car, and when I said no again and again, in anger he just moved away. And then after 10 minutes he again came back to the same spot where I was standing, and this time he started forcing me even more, and when I refused he made terribly lewd gestures at me, started signaling, and I tried to stop him from running away. But while I was doing that, my hand, he just rolled over the window and my hand got stuck in his car, and he knew that, he could see that. Despite that, he just pressed the accelerator very hard, because of which the car shot ahead and I was dragged along for several meters. And I raised an alarm, and there was another person from my team who jumped in, who tried to save me, and that is how I ended up getting saved. Otherwise, probably I would have met the same fate as Anjali.
You know, Swati, it's absolutely horrific what you had to go through. I just want to go back to some details that you were pointing out. As far as the location of where this happened, you're saying this happened in front of the Ames hospital. The expectation is that there will be heavy deployment there. But despite all of that, you're saying that you in fact were dragged for a good 10 to 15 meters, and all the while when you were being dragged, there was no police official on the ground. Is that correct?
There was absolutely no police official in that stretch. In fact, we did this inspection in Kanjhavla, in Mundka, in Munirka, in Vasant Vihar, in Hauskhas, and finally we were standing here. And in all these places except for Kanjhavla, I did not see any police officer or any PCR taking any kind of an action, and I was being dragged again on the streets. It was horrible, it was so scary, and there was no police officer at that time. I immediately called up 112 twice it was cut, which is very shocking, because in fact I am going to be issuing a notice on this, that why was it cut? Why, I mean, how can the 112 number not be connected? Because maybe a woman does not get a second chance. So twice I called, twice it was not connected, and the third time when I called, but before that a petrol vehicle, a Garud vehicle, just was crossing by. I stopped them, and then when I introduced myself as the chairperson of the Delhi Commission for Women, then the entire police paraphernalia came, the DCP came, the ACP came, everybody came, and that man was caught in less than half an hour. You see, that is, if the police wants to do something, that is what they can do. In the Anjali matter, at 2:22 the first PCR call was made, and the final call was made at 4:16. During this period, the Delhi police failed to act, and now because 11 officers have been suspended, some accountability has been set. So I think that the police force is also now trying to gear up, and that is what is the need of the hour. We need to ensure accountability of the police, but at the end of the day, despite their coming, despite them arresting that man, are people really scared in our country?
Well, that really is a larger question, but you know, Swati, you're pointing out to two big lapses. One, you were saying you were dragged for a good 10 to 15 meters. There was no police official on the ground. And the second thing that you're pointing out to, which is also equally worrying, is that you did call the helpline number, which is 112, and somebody in fact cut the call not once but twice. So that is something that the Delhi police will also have to answer as to why that happened. But I want to talk to you about the action that we're already seeing. The driver has been arrested. But the fact that this is happening days after the Anjali case, why do you think this is happening? Is it because there is no fear of law, or is it because they think that even if they're arrested, they can get away?
I think it is both. I think there is hardly any deterrence in our country. How is it that a lone girl is standing there on the main road of Delhi, the arterial road of Delhi, the ring road of Delhi, and yet you see all these people, they come, they stop, they try and stalk you. They were acting like predators, where they were just waiting, you know, if just to cross check whether I'm really alone, and all of that was happening right in the National Capital Territory of Delhi, just 20 days away from a horrific incident. So it's really unfortunate that for all that while that I was standing at that bus stop, or while this accident actually happened.
Well, we're now shifting our focus to some visuals coming in, and these are visuals coming in from Antela in Mumbai. Reliance Industries Limited Chairman and Managing Director Mukesh Ambani's son, Anant Ambani, is getting engaged to Radhika Merchant. Those lovely visuals on our screens. The Gold Dana ceremony is being held at Mukesh Ambani's residence, Antela in Mumbai. Radhika Merchant is the daughter of Viren Merchant, the CEO of Encore Healthcare. She hails from Kutch in Gujarat. Remember, the couple did host a Mehndi ceremony on Tuesday as well. The Roka ceremony of the couple was also performed at Srinath Ji Temple in Rajasthan's Natwara on the 29th of December in the presence of close family members and friends. Some visuals now coming in celebrations on in Antilia. Let me bring in my colleagues Shilpa and Neer, who in fact have been talking to us about what really is happening. Shilpa, we are getting some visuals now coming in. We can see the close family members as part of some puja that is going on. Just talk to us about what is happening, who all are already present there.
Well, yes, there is a puja going on. In fact, we can hear the chants as well. I believe that is a Ganesh puja which was slated to take place after the Gold Dana ceremony, and we in fact saw the couple come out and pose along with the family just a short while back, and I believe that puja is currently underway right now. There is also going to be a balloon ceremony which will be taking place very soon, and after which there will be a walk as well in the Vishnu Garden is what we're told, and in fact there are guests as well who started arriving already. So there is also arrangements made on, there are many red carpets here, there's also a red carpet inside there, and beyond that I'm told that we have visuals of that Ganesh Puja that's happening. Today was a very special day of a ceremony called the Goldana ceremony, and my colleague Mihir Trivedi, I believe, knows what exactly this ceremony is about. Mihir, if you could tell our viewers what exactly is a Goldana ceremony.
Absolutely, Goldana is more like a roka. It is an engagement, but without rings. You know, that's when the couple decides that they are going to spend the life together. This decision has been made, and the family together, you know, in a sense, celebrates it. Apart from that, of course, today we are going to see the official engagement, where we'll see many guests arriving, because that was more of a closed kind of an event. Here they will be able to call more guests today, and that's what we are seeing with the kind of preparations here. We are seeing the entire street lights have been lit up. There is a lot of decoration right behind us, and everywhere around there is a lot of security. What we also know at this point, in all the guests who've arrived, is that the Thakres are here. Rashmi Thakre as well as Aditya Thakre have already entered inside. They are part of the particular ceremonies that are going on. They are witness to it, and we will see many more guests coming in time to come, because that's what we are seeing. Every 2 minutes there is a car that is entering this particular Antilla building where the ceremony is going on. And yes, you are correct. There was a balloon show also, which was when Radhika entered inside and the family greeted you know, the girl, and then they will kickstart all the other ceremonies that are to come. Of course, there is the big performance that everybody is talking about. We don't know who all will be performing, but some of the family members will definitely be part of that performance, considering this is such a very it is a very happy moment for the Ambanis, and all eyes are on this particular building where the engagement ceremony of Anand Ambani and Radhika Merchant is taking place at this point.
Yes, just a short while back we got visuals of the newly engaged couple, Anand Ambani and Radhika Merchant, alongside their entire family. 27-year-old Anand Ambani is the youngest of the Ambani family, and it is a very festive atmosphere here indeed, because it's not just the engagement, right? There's a packed schedule here. As you were telling our viewers, there was that balloon show that took place, and after which there was also the Goldana, and then there is going to be many pujas.
There is the Ganesh Puja that has happened, which really kickstarts the ceremony. You know, anything which is so auspicious and such a happy moment for a Gujarati family, they generally start with Ganesh Puja. This is when you know, they seek the blessings of Lord Ganesha. We know that the family does hold that Ganpati festival also during Ganesh Chaturthi. They do have the idol at home, so clearly that is one of the key ingredients of this particular ceremony. And of course, then there will be other things that will follow. Like you mentioned, there will be a performance, and we are seeing a lot of activity actually outside here. You know, it is of course there are a lot of guests who are arriving time and again. In fact, the security arrangement is quite tight outside as well. Not only the security is managing the crowd, but they are also managing the onlookers who have gathered in huge numbers today.
Well, celebrations are on, and we'll continue to go back to those celebrations. But let's come back to the big story that we were talking about, of what's really happened with the DCW chief, Swati Maliwal. The larger question is, why come things haven't changed from the Anjali case to now this case of Swati Maliwal? So let's break down the details of what really has happened in the national capital just in the last few days. Let's first begin with what happened with Anjali. This was a case that shocked everyone. You had Anjali with her friend Nidhi. They left a hotel, and after that, you know, their scooty was hit by a Baleno, and then you had Anjali being dragged for kilometers together. Today, what's happened with Swati Maliwal was out on inspection at about 3 a.m. And this is what Swati Maliwal was telling us a short while ago, that all of this happened outside the AIIMS hospital in the national capital, where the expectation is that you will have a lot of police officials on the ground. What happened with Anjali? Sat behind her friend on the scooty. As I pointed out, at one particular junction, you had the scooty hitting the Baleno, and then the Baleno dragging Anjali for kilometers. Of course, you know, the idea the accused in the Baleno was to try and escape this entire crime. What happened with Swati Maliwal? She got molested by a drunk driver near Ames, and this is what she was recounting for us and our viewers as well, how a man approached her, harassed her and then dragged her for a good 10 to 15 meters. What happened with Anjali? The scooty got hit by a car at about 3 a.m. Again, the larger question was, this was the 31st of December. Why come we didn't see any police official on the ground? PCR calls went unanswered, and it took a lot of time for officials to even understand and then react to what had happened. What has happened with Swati Maliwal? Got into an argument with the driver. In fact, it's not just an argument. She wanted to tell the man to mind his own business and go away. And this is what Swati was pointing out, that he actually did go and then came back and then dragged her for a good 10 to 15 meters. What happened with Anjali? Anjali got stuck under the car and, as I said, was dragged for kilometers together with no official on the ground to help her. What happened with Swati Maliwal? The driver locked her hand in his car window and then dragged her for a good 10 to 15 meters. Again with Maliwal, Maliwal got stuck and, as I said, dragged for a good 10 to 15 meters before her team and others could jump in. What happened with Anjali? Anjali was dragged, as I pointed out, for a good 10 kilometers. So again, the larger question is, how come we don't see any police officials on the ground? And all these promises that were made with Anjali's case seem to be a farce, considering the fact the same episode has happened with Swati Maliwal. I want to now bring in another guest to try and understand what really is happening. Where are we going wrong? We have former IPS officer Kiran Bedi now joining us on CNN News 18. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on CNN News 18. You know, we were just grappling our heads around with what had happened with Anjali. And now you see a similar case with the DCW chief, who in fact was out on the streets to inspect the ground reality. So I want to understand from you, ma'am, from Nirbhaya to now, has nothing really changed?
I think a situation is coming where we need to probably put a policy and a system in place. If we want to go about night checking like this and become decoys to catch the delinquent bad characters or people like this, I think we now need to work together. People and police need to work together. They can be the decoys, but I think we cannot take this kind of a chance to be all by ourselves, to go about inspecting. While I fully appreciate what Swati did, but I think it's time now for police and people, organizations to work together. Now, what do I mean by saying working together? I think what we need to do is plan decoy system. Swati and team can be the decoys, but that doesn't mean that they should be left alone to themselves.
Okay.
There has to be some lingering PCR vans all around. We need to identify which area we now need to sweep or clear and find out how do these bad characters at night behave. So if we have a policy in place, then we can put a policy. When I say put a policy, which means we can have an area secretly, confidentially decided that we will sweep this area.
Yeah.
Let's say, look at a particular area, let Swati decide it. If Swati and police in confidence work together and we spread out our decoys, and there are many decoys. Swati and team can be the decoys. We have many women in civil defense. So we can plan an area as a last minute where these women spread out. But the police is close by,
Okay.
and so that we can catch these people red-handed,
Sure.
without any damage coming to any decoy. So what Swati did was, I think, by herself.
Okay.
We now need to work as a team, because we do need to catch these errant men and also put the scare amongst these men that do not know who is a decoy and who is not.
Yeah.
We do not know. So they'll be absolutely scared of taking a chance. They might think this is probably a decoy.
Sure.
But the police need not be visible. They can be hidden somewhere in the dark. But there can be a signal between the police and this. The moment the man starts misbehaving or is into this situation, the motorcycle comes in. So I think we now need to not do this what Swati on her own did it. I think she narrowly escaped a very tragic thing. I see that happening, but we should avoid this. But we need to catch these bad characters.
Right,
And
absolutely.
to catch them red-handed, now we need to team up together.
Well, I agree with the
Citizens,
point that
women,
you're making,
and
ma'am, that,
police.
a lot of other teams also now need to come together. But, if you heard the conversation I had with Swati Maliwal, she's actually raising very big questions, similar questions that we raised with the Anjali case. One, again, she was dragged for a good 10 to 15 meters and there was no police official on the ground. Post the Anjali case, a lot of promises were made, but unfortunately that wasn't there. Secondly, she's also saying she called the helpline, which is 112, but somebody in fact cut that call not once but twice. And that becomes a big problem, because the larger question is, what if some woman doesn't have that second chance to make that call again?
Exactly. So I think we need to put a system in place, rehearse it, practice it, and certainly let the city of Delhi know that we are spreading decoys now till the matter comes under proper control. We are on decoys. We do not know which area. And the deployment, please understand, you cannot have, and it's not going to be practically possible to have a policeman at every road, on every road at night. I don't think it's physically possible, probably anywhere in the world. So therefore, we now need to deploy methodically, scientifically, properly, in a planned manner, but keeping the surprise element. And these men do know, oh, there's a woman standing. Do I take a chance? She may be a decoy. So I think we need to put the scare. The policemen, the department and people now need to work together. Organize. A Delhi Commission can be one of the very good partners to work with the police. And why not? Police and the commission can work together. The commission can also pick up a lot of volunteers, and we can spread out. But we need to choose the area. And then sanitize the area, but not declare it. Keep the surprise element. Keep the motorcycles on the side. There's a button call. There's a message call. We just press the button. Just press the button and a motorcycle comes. You catch them red-handed. Unless you put the scare and certainty of you any man like this misbehaving and getting caught red-handed, it will not control. However, the police control room vans also need to be positioned properly, and they can also do slow patrolling. They can also do slow motorcycle patrolling, which is a good option to have. That will spread the fear, and also do a lot of drunken driving checking, because I believe this man who attacked Swati was dead drunk. So why not do drunken driving, traffic checking by these barricades? So barricade checking, and spreading out surprise decoys in collaboration with Women Commission would be a good idea. I think the Delhi police and the commission need to work together and find out. And civil defense women, there are many women in civil defense who are trained, but they will be trained to handle themselves and not be scared. So they could be in civil dresses, and let us see. But we can choose areas. So surprise element should be Aaj New Delhi, Kal West Delhi, North Delhi, could be out further areas. You never know which area will be done. And that should be a very nice collaboration between the Delhi police, Crimes Women Cell, and also maybe the Commission for Women, and work together. Object is to catch these people it's not to test the Delhi police and declare them fail every time. That should not be the objective. Objective is now to jointly succeed and secure the women of the city.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I think that's a very crucial point that you're making,
certainty of fear that the men will be caught.
Oh, absolutely.
Where they're caught, keep the surprise element.
Yeah, I think those are very crucial points that you're making, and it helps us understand what are the possible solutions that officials on the ground can also take. Kiran ma'am, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on CNN News 18. We really hope that all these measures that have been listed out by Kiran Bedi possibly can be implemented on the ground, and fortunately we will not have to see cases like these repeat in the national capital. I'll leave the conversation there, ma'am. Appreciate you joining us here once again on CNN News 18. I quickly also want to bring in our other guests to try and understand where have things gone wrong and what are the possible solutions. This is something that we discuss every single time, but still we continue to see cases like these in a pattern emerge. I also have Dr. Ranjana Kumari, Director, Center for Social Research, now joining us on the broadcast. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on CNN News 18. How do you feel today when you see cases like these? If all of us were horrified with the Anjali case, today we are seeing a repeat of something similar, and it happens with the DCW chief. then the larger question is, if this is the reality for the DCW chief, then where do the rest of us go?
Well, now it has come really closer home, because, we have been saying it for a long, long time that, the way the policing system in Delhi, it's not that you can, as Kiran Bedi I just heard was saying, that you can't have police standing every kilometer, but you can certainly have policing as element of, control and fear for such kind of elements. The driver was drunk. B, that, he did not just care for who. I mean, it could be any girl, it could have been anybody, any woman, and then just dragging her. And also, anything could have happened. Actually, what happened with Anjali could have happened. But the whole issue is that when you call the police, when you really dial the number where they are supposed to respond, then the problem is there. I mean, I can understand with 101 suggestions that you can do this, you can do that. And I'm sure Delhi police knows that they can do all this to protect women. But what happens when they are called for help and they don't respond in time? Why that? And when that kind of a default is there, and when that kind of a situation emerges, why there is never, ever, ever any action against the police? Is this not dereliction of duty? Are you not supposed to be reaching every
and that's
point,
exactly
every
what
nook and corner
baffles everyone, ma'am, that, whether it was the Anjali case where the expectation was that there will be extra officials on the ground because it was the 31st of December. Despite that, we had an entire patch of about 10 to 12 kilometers where a woman is dragged and there was nobody there. The same thing happens, and this happens at AIIMS. And anybody who's familiar with, the national capital would understand that this is an area where you would expect extra patrolling, extra police officials. So they're not there in Anjali's case, they're not there in Swati Maliwal's case. And the larger question is, where is the force being deployed?
Absolutely. So if Swati Maliwal and an area as important and as prominent in Delhi is All India Medical Institute premises, then where is a woman safe? We all the time are saying that women in Delhi are not safe. And then when you look at one after the other, this case, now this is Delhi Commission for Women Chief, and Kiran Bedi suggested so many things that should be done with Delhi Commission for Women. I think instead of blame game, instead of Delhi government and Delhi Commission all the time taking police to task, let them sit down with the police. We all are willing to come and help. They let them call. There used to be continuous dialogue between police and the civil society. People who know where the problem areas are. People know which are the dark alleys of Delhi. People like us who work in the community, we know exactly where we need more and better policing. So why not this kind of let Delhi Commission invite Delhi police to do this instead of sending every time and reprimand them? I think let's have some kind of a conversation. Secondly, I want to really say that in Delhi, drunken driving has become a kind of norm, rule. There used to be checks. They've completely forgotten about it. There is nothing, nowhere ever you see any police people standing. Perhaps COVID had prevented that kind of testing, but they can come up with any other kind of testing where they should be able to find out if there is a drunken driving going on.
Ma'am, when you're saying we shouldn't indulge in a blame game, I also want to understand that what about the promises that have been made by the Delhi police? If you go back to the Nirbhaya case, we had a lot of plans and promises that were made that there will be, more CCTV cameras, there will be extra patrolling, especially at night, extra PCR vans will be there. But all of that completely seems to be a farce today. So you have to also hold the Delhi police and officials on the ground accountable, because otherwise we're just waiting for the next case to happen.
Well, Delhi police certainly is lacking in many, many which way. And I said that they never call anybody, and there is nothing ever that you see in form of action against their own force when the force is not really acting in the manner that they are supposed to act. So always you will see that the force is always, kind of lacking in their action. But at the same time, you look at the way Delhi government and Delhi police, instead of creating conditions of better safety and normalcy in Delhi and protection for women, or you can say safety for women, they are just blaming each other all the time. Why we need solutions? Don't we need solutions? I mean, Anjali was okay. It looked as if some girl from somewhere got mauled, but what about Swati Maliwal? She is a Delhi,
well, the hope really, ma'am, was that post Nirbhaya, there will be solutions, there will be a plan, and we'll see the implementation. But unfortunately, as I said, just in the last couple of days, we've seen two similar cases that have happened, which once again have raised the questions, are all these promises that are being made just for optics? Unfortunately, ma'am, I'll have to leave the conversation there. Thank you so much for joining us here on CNN News 18. With that, it's a wrap from my side, but news continues here on CNN News 18.
Welcome everyone, thanks for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. The dangle over the Wrestling Federation and its chief continues for day 2 as protesting wrestlers continued their stir against Brij Bhushan Sharan. The wrestling body chief is accused of mismanagement, dictatorial handling, mental and even sexual exploitation of the female athletes. Now, this has been a never-before-seen revolt by Indian athletes. The only other time something like this has happened was back in 2010, when hockey players revolted against the then federation because of non-payment of their dues. You know what is different about this revolt though? It is coming from a sport that is actually doing well.